Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cryptids and Critters Paranormal. I'm the founder and your host, the Deuster. I had plans today on getting out into the edge of the woods and around the farm pond in the area around the muddy banks and see if I could find some kind of strange tracks today. Maybe take an excursion through the woods while the snakes are still in hibernation. The weather is 56 degrees here right now in Soggy Bottom. But before I got through with my honeydew list this morning, it started raining on me. So I didn't get to go out into the woods or out to the pond. I decided I would stay in today and maybe do a video or two for you. And today we're going to talk about some haunted locations in Robertson County, Tennessee. Robertson County was formed in 1796. And we've had more than our share of murders, lynchings, suicides, and we also had a lot of activity going on during the Reconstruction period following the war between the states. It got pretty hectic around here. We had all kind of murders and lynchings, tortures, and all kind of stuff going on. So that's it kind of lays the groundwork for what I want to talk to you about today. Some of Robertson County's haunted locations. The basement of the old Robertson County Jail, which is now the home of the Robertson County Archives. The people that work there, they're all friends of mine. I'm very well acquainted with them. So they hear voices and strange noises coming out from under the empty basement, and doors have been heard opening and closing, and with nobody down there. So I need to go back and investigate that. And it's possible these are some of the ghosts of some of the inmates that died while they were incarcerated in jail, and there were several. The old abandoned Springfield Woolen Mill building is also known to be haunted. A few years ago, on a hot summer day, one of the locals who wishes to remain anonymous, and I got this story straight from him, he decided to trespass on the property and go into the basement to look around. The windows and doors were all boarded up to prevent unlawful access. He took a crowbar with him and he pried off a board in an attempt to gain access. And when he did, a cold blast of air hit him right in the face. He instantly became nauseated and had to leave the property. As far as I know, he never went back. The old building is under renovation at this time, so who knows what other paranormal activity this may trigger during this process. Another site is the old Robertson County Courthouse. It's also reported to be haunted, having been the site for several lynchings over the years. At least 6 people were lynched from the east balcony before it was removed. In 1881, Bob Thwett, Lum Small, Jim Higgins, Locke Mallory, and Jim Elder were hanged from the east balcony railing after having been taken from the sheriff by force. They had a murder trial going on. They were defendants in the murder of L.S. LaPrade in 1880, and the trial was going on. They were the only ones left to stand trial, as 2 more had already been previously lynched before that. But anyway, they were on trial. The trial was about over. The case had been handed to the jury for deliberation, and when they retired to the jury room, the lynch mob burst into the courthouse and took the defendants, threw ropes around their necks, tied them off to the railing, and pitched them over the railing. And as they swung from their ropes, their bodies were riddled with bullets. And then once they were satisfied that they were indeed dead, the lynch mob dispersed. Then again, in 1901, another guy was hung there named White Mallory. He was lynched from the same balcony. And to prevent any further lynchings off of this balcony, the county commissioners voted to have it removed from the courthouse. And about 1902, the balcony was taken off the courthouse. Also at the courthouse on the morning of July 8th, 1898, County Court Clerk J.W. Dean, who was facing embezzlement charges, committed suicide in his office in the courthouse by placing the barrel of his pistol in his mouth and pulling the trigger. The bullet came out of his head just above his right ear, spraying blood and brain matter all over the office. The office where the suicide occurred is now the women's restroom. Several women have reported experiencing cold spots in the room, along with the feeling of being watched while alone in the restroom. Can't you just imagine that? A lot of people have used that bathroom and didn't even know that occurred there. Another site is the old Jesse Holman Jones Hospital building, which is now the home of the Robertson County Office Building. It's also haunted, especially the basement area. There have been many deaths there at the hospital, and the spot that they say is the most haunted is in the basement area, which also served as the morgue while the hospital was in operation. There have been several sightings of shadows wandering the halls, and disembodied voices are regularly heard down there. And there is a house situated atop Pull-Tight Hill on 5th Avenue East, known as the Old Kirk House. Back in 1880s, it was purported to be haunted while it served as the primary residence of Dr. John Knuckles and his wife Laura. In April of 1880, strange tapping noises were heard in the house and appeared to be originating from beneath the floorboards. They ignored it at first, but after the third consecutive night, it was decided to call in some of the neighbors to try to locate the origin of the noise. Dr. Knuckles invited a dozen or so of Springfield's finest citizens to spend the night, which included some local lawyers, ministers, and doctors, and a few close friends. Knuckles swore that if a source of the noise could not be located, he would indeed move out of the house. So about 10:30 that night, the noise began and was solid enough to be felt throughout the house. It continued until about 4 o'clock the next morning, and during this time the house was surrounded by neighbors to prevent any outside interference. 2 men climbed into the crawl space beneath the house, while 7 or 8 took their places inside the residence. The noise continued well into the wee morning hours, but no one was able to determine the exact source or cause of the noise. Now, the following night, a local carpenter by the name of Gil Walling climbed under the house and discovered the sound was actually coming from not below, but above the floorboards. It was also noted that the noise seemed to be coming from directly beneath anywhere Laura Hopkins stood. It was surmised that Laura had a steel ball suspended from beneath her skirts by an elastic cord, and the ball bouncing on the floor was causing the noise. The following Saturday night, no less than 300 men and women camped out in the front yard, on the front porch, and in the field across the street, all wanting to witness the ghostly manifestations. To their dismay, the ghost failed to make an appearance. The general consensus was that Laura came up with the idea in an attempt to attract attention to herself and to gain sympathy from her friends. Shortly after the haunting didn't work out in her favor, Laura took her child and moved out of the house and resided with her father. A domestic dispute broke out between her father and Dr. Knuckles, which resulted in Dr. Knuckles being ambushed and killed by Laura's brother, S.B. Hopkins, on Main Street in Springfield. And they say that the spirit of Dr. Knuckles still roams the streets of Springfield at night. And that's a few of the little haunted spots around Robertson County. I'm going to look up a few more of them. This whole article I just discussed is in my book, Ghostly Whispers. It's available on Amazon. It's also available from my home bookstore. If you would like a copy, drop me an email to ghosthunter911@gmail.com. Once again, that is ghosthunter911@gmail.com. And I'll make sure you get a signed and autographed copy delivered to your mailbox. I hope you enjoyed hearing this. It's just kind of a spur of the moment deal I just came up with this morning. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, subscribe to my channel, give me a like, share it with your friends, and I'll be putting on a few more of these as we go along. So again, thank you for watching. This is the Dooster, Cryptids and Critters Paranormal, and we will catch you next time. Having a great day.